Hi everyone, welcome to SM Printing. Today we're going to be printing off some transfers. We're going to print one off in step 3, removing the black, and then one in step 5 with the rip, removing the black. We picked up some particular colours and designs that allowed us to do this. We're using laser dark no cut. I pick out the designs. The designs we just went on the internet, set them down into A5 and then put those A5s onto an A3 sheet. Make sure that because we're using A3 that if you're using the din is either on A4, A3, whichever suits your design. Okay, so on step 3 then, which will be coming in a minute, we're going to set the substrate. Substrate just shows that if it's in transparency. But on this one, because this is the first lot of transfers that we're going to be printing off via using screen from printer, we're going to bump up the coloration, the brightness up to 30, which then will make the colours vibrant. So if you look now, you'll see them change the brightness on it. And then also, we've set the colour. We're going to remove the back. As I said, we're going to remove the black in step 3, and then use screen from printer to print them off. Set the tolerance to 6. So if you look on the left-hand side now, the black will be removed via that way. And then on this next part, all we're doing is, because this one here is going to be set for knocking the black out using step 5. All we're doing is, because we want to make it the same, we're just bumping the brightness up to 30 again. Look on the left hand side, it brightens it up. This will help the vibrancy of it. From there then, we move on to step 4. Okay, so all it is we're knocking it on to none. We're going to go back to step 4 in a minute. Make sure it's on none, so because we don't want a mirror image on it. And then when you jump back to step 4, because we're going to print this first one off, we're going to print it on copier paper. So therefore, make sure that you knock nothing to do here. We're just going to print it out on normal white paper just to have a double check of how it's going to look. So, you know, it saves us wasting the good paper. We're going to just double check what it looks like on normal white paper first. As you can see, it's been printed out. Everything that's white will be black on the garment because we're using it on a cotton garment. So feel free to print your designs off on normal paper to see how they look. And again, it just saves you wasting the good stuff. So then we've gone back to step 5. We're going to go back now to step 4. We're going to turn this on. This will then lays the white down. Set it at 180. Going to be on 1.00. Pixel device then will be on 2. All this does is any pixels that mismatch, it would like just marry them together, and then set the partial transparency. All this happens, it just tucks any white lines underneath. So if you have any designs in it as the white line, it looks like a white silhouette all the way around the outside, that's the button you need to click. Turn it back to mirror, and then we're going to set it at print. Like I said, we've got on printer from screening. Use printer from screening. This then will just print it off on as normal, and taking the black out from step 3. It's a normal simple process. So use screen from printer, black removed from step 3, and now it's just printing off. As you can see, the white's there laid last, goes down last. And because, as I said, I set the brightness up to 30, you can see how vibrant the colours are. We'll be using matte paper, but we'll speak about that later on when we do the peeling. So we're just going to repeat the same process then. We're going to print off the next set of ones. Again, this time we're using the remove black, or remove dark media, should I say, from there. So all we do is double check that. Now when you use that, it will still rasterize it, so you can either use a Euclidean or lines. When we remove the black from step 5, we'll always set it on lines. You can also look at the shadowing and everything else. That all that does is have how much dark media is being removed. It's entirely up to you. You know, we leave ours at 175 anyway, but the transfer rip, you know, can say, you know, that you can remove up to 300 on it, but it's entirely up to you. Like I said, we leave ours on 175, but it's just trial and error. Have a play, but use your copy of paper so you don't waste the good paper doing it. So this time, this one's been printed out. the rip has removed the black this time rather than me remove it in step 3. So that it's step 5, remove the dark media. And as you can look, it looks quite see-through, but the black will cover all that in on the garment, which you'll see later down the line. But it's still vibrant. You can tell the difference between the two by looking at them, can't you? But again, you're going to see later in the video, you'll see what they both look like. So we're going to marry this up. Now, for those that, when you're marrying, ensure that the platen, which is the bit that is on the bottom, is absolutely as hot as the top part. That bit there, make sure that's as red hot as the top part. Otherwise, you're not going to marry the B paper to the A paper to correctly. Use a bit of paper in there then. This helps you with the peel rather than trying to fumble around while it's hot, especially if you wear gloves. Place your paper on top of it and then push it down. We set this at 12, 120 seconds at a temperature of 150. See, we've got it at 12 o'clock as we call it. Everyone will have a different type of pressure. My pressure compared to my fiance's pressure is totally different. But it's whatever suits your pressure, and you'll find that out as you go along. So we're counting it down then. This time remove the paper. You've got a little bit of piece of paper in the corner which helps you grab it straight away with gloves on and just give a pull. Pull on your left, pull on your right. Now pull it 100%, say for argument's sake, but as you start to come into the final corner of it, gently ease off it. So if this is 100% being pulled now, gently ease off and come down to 30% if you can see it. Nice and gently, and it will just pop off itself. So this is a step 3 one that's pulled, and this is what it looks like. When it's turned around, you'll see the glue on the back of it. The glue also acts as another layer of white. So you're kind of having 2 layers on there. So this one is the step 5 where the dark media has been removed by the rip itself. Again, marrying process is exactly the same. Ensure it's married up correctly. The bottom bit, remember the bottom part of the platen needs to be red hot. Grab your little piece of paper, put it in the corner, and then put your sheet, your sheet over the top. We use the finishing sheet to do this process. Pushing it down, it's still set at 12, 120 seconds at temperature 150 degrees C. And then just repeat the same process. Nice and gently, pull it up, remove the paper, lift the corner up because you've got the piece of paper, give it a good pull. Keep pulling on your left arm, pull on your right arm, just keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. And then as you start to get towards the end of the transfer, nice and gently let it pop off. The reason you let it pop off because sometimes the toner will stick to the B paper, which obviously you don't want for your customers. And see how it just popped off there. And again, you've got all the white, I'll say the white on the back, or the glue has stuck to all the rest of the toner, which acts as another white layer. And it will keep that vibrancy. Again, when that goes onto the t-shirt, you'll see how those will actually pop. Don't forget to cut off the excess bit of glue. Some people forget to do this, and if you press that glue onto the garment, it's going to stay there. And all it is just an outside cut around the outside. As you can see, we'll zoom in a second. You can see it there, look. That's the bit basically that you're removing. Because we're making 2 lots of t-shirts with 4 different pictures, we'll just cut them into 4, so we can do 4 lots of peel as well, which basically you'll see 8 peels. Nice and gently then we'll just shorten it down, cutting it all off. And that bottom right hand corner bit here, we don't really need that, so therefore we'll just cut through that. And again, you can do that with some of your designs if you don't need it, so it's not just hanging off there, and we're cutting it off. What we've done here, we're warming up the garment. So because we're at 12 o'clock, that's for our marrying. But when we press it, the transfers to the t-shirt, we set it at 6 o'clock. But again, play with your pressures. If you have it too much, it could bleed through. So the black's going to bleed through on the white and turn it grey. So, you've just got to find what suits you. Trial and error is the only way, and just learn from that trial and error. And you see, we're going to tell you how to put transfers onto the garment. We've laid them on. Put the finishing sheet over the top. Remember the pressure's at 6 o'clock from our 12 o'clock, which is different from the marrying process. This time, It is still at 150 degrees because it's going on cotton, and then a 30-second press on that medium pressure. Just under 5 seconds then. Then all we do is pop it off, and because these are cold peel, we're just going to lay it down on a cold surface and let it go cold before we do the peel. So that's the step 3 ones where we've removed the black. This time this is the step 5 one. So the rip has removed the black for us using the dark media, still keeping it on 6. And again, 30 seconds worth of pressing for 150 degrees. And the same process is the same. Take it off, lay it on a cold surface, and then we can do the peel. Remember, it's a cold peel. You can actually remove the transfer off the peel when it's hot, and the whole thing will come off. I've got my knees on the bottom, my fiance's on the top left, and we've pulling on that t-shirt nice and tight, folding the transfer paper over itself, and gently just start to peel it off. This only works though if the t-shirt is being pulled nice and tight, and I don't mean overly tight so it stretches it, so it's in place. On each one of these, that's what happened. The whole t-shirt doesn't lift up basically when we're doing the peel, because it's being pulled nice and tight. And I can't reiterate that enough. I see people just ripping these transfers off. You know, you've got to do it nice and gently process, fold it upon itself, but it only works when the t-shirt or the garment is pulled nice and tight. Look how vibrant those colours are. You can see the shine on them because, you know, we're going to do it with a matte finishing paper. So at the minute, it's nice and shiny. So see that gloss? We don't want that. We want it on a matte. But look how vibrant those colours are. So that's the step 3 one. And then we go over onto the step 5 one where the dark media has been removed by the program itself. And as you can see, just as vibrant as it is, we're pulling the garment in the same position as the other one, and we're gently peeling this off, rolling it upon itself like so. As you can see how much of the t-shirt is filled in for those colours. And look how different they look, because they were quite see-through, wasn't they, when they first come off the printer. And then we've then laid it onto the garment. So we're pulling nice and gently, trying to ensure that the t-shirt didn't lift up. So now we're going to use the finishing paper. Please don't use Teflon. Yeah, Teflon sheets will lift it up. And as you can saw there, we then turned it to 3 o'clock. The reason we've done this is, you know, sometimes if it's too much pressure, when you peel it off, the transfer will come off with the finishing paper. If you ever get that problem, it's because there's too much pressure. So we always ease our pressure from 6 o'clock now to 3 o'clock. Again, 30 seconds worth, 150 degrees. And then as we pull it off, we're going to wait for 5 seconds before we peel the finishing paper off. And what the finishing paper does, it seals it to the garment. It's, you know, it's really important. You know, people use parchment paper and Teflon sheets. You're just going to ruin it. You need to have the proper finishing paper, and as is the, you know, the forever finishing paper. So this is the step 3 one, as I said. Nice and vibrant. You know, it looks absolutely awesome. It looks so much good. Like I said, this, you know, I've removed the black myself in step 3. And then the next one is now, this is a step 5 where, again, we're changing it to a 3 o'clock look. Step 5, so the dark media has been removed by the transfer rip itself, which is the forever rip. But you can have, you know, you'll have your own different programs, etc. 30 seconds on 150 degrees because it's on cotton. After 30 seconds, remember, it's proper finishing paper. Don't use Teflon, don't use parchment paper, use the proper stuff. You know, it will make the transfer last so much longer. Wait for 5 seconds and then just peel it off. So as you can see already how different it is from, you know, the on-screening printer, i.e. the step 3 one, to removing the dark media itself. You know, you can see the different coloration of how the rip has picked up its own dark media and what it chooses to remove. So now this is both of them, so one on the front and the back, as you'll see in a minute. Step 5 removal, dark media. And then this is me removing the black in the transfer rip on step 3. But you can use other programs if you want, you know, Photoshop, etc. Use all those, see those programs and see what they can do. Hi folks, so if you're looking then, so why do we rasterize it? So if you listen to the sound of it, of how smoother, and we turn it over then and see the other side. Now listen to the sound of it. So this is the step 3 one. So even though they look really vibrant, and they will last, they won't last anywhere near as the ones from step 5. So that was the step 3 one, and this is one where it has been knocked out itself, like so. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and feel free to leave any comments. Thanks for watching.